Well, there was going to be a few players that I was going to touch on just before we move on from the game. So on it, the first one, he was trending on X earlier on today, and I get that's far from the be all and end all, but a lot of Celtic fans discussing Kasper Schmeichel. I mean, would you? In fact, I'll give my tuppence worth first. I think he's actually pulling off several good saves. There was one against Falkirk was really important. There was one at Tynecastle which was brilliant. But see that, I don't know what you thought, but that second goal yesterday was really poor. And I don't know, is it time that maybe Sinisalo was given a run in the team?
I actually thought that Voljami Sinisalo was very unlucky to lose his place for the cup final last year. You know, the way he played in the build-up. Obviously, Kasper Schmeichel was trying to get back from his shoulder injury. It's a difficult one, isn't it? It's a bit similar to the Callum McGregor situation. You know, if he had a bad game 5 years ago, it was a bad game, and now it's just because he's getting old. Somebody said, you know, and it's kind of similar with Schmeichel. I'm sure he made mistakes back in the day. He was certainly safer last season. I don't think there's any doubt about that. There are one or two things creeping in now. I also think last year when Kasper Schmeichel signed, I thought it would be very difficult to get somebody more dominant than Joe Hart, or more of a sort of calming presence. And in the first half of last season, Kasper Schmeichel's calming presence was incredible with the ball at his feet. I mean, it was just, the whole place just calmed, whereas Joe Hart could set panic around the stands with the ball at his feet. Kasper Schmeichel took that all away. That seems to have crept into his game as well now. It's one or two instances at Rugby Park, he was passed it out and Celtic ended up giving a throw-in away deep in their own territory. It just looked like the wrong thing to do. It just seems to be creeping in. Is it the time for Sinisalo? That's a big, big, big call at this stage of the season, I have to say. I know it sounds like I'm sitting in the fence. If it was September or October, maybe. Maybe. In the form that Kasper Schmeichel's shown at the moment, but I think we're now getting to the nitty-gritty, and it might just be a case of the established number one needs to stay there now. But
actually,
to argue with me that Sinisalo should get his chance in the team, I wouldn't bite back about it.
No, look, I agree with you as well. I'm sitting thinking about it there. You know, we're talking about the massive games that Celtic have coming up. You mentioned Hibs there at the weekend. And, you know, this kind of run that's coming up, Stuttgart away, Rangers away, Aberdeen away, and Rangers away.
Yeah,
I think Schmeichel, not only for his ability, but he's such a big character. You know, in the dressing room. He's been there, he's done it. I mean, won the Premier League, been at World Cups and Euros. I think it would be a bit too much to throw Sinisalo in and go, look, help us win the title. So, I probably agree with you. I'd probably keep Schmeichel in for the time being at least. The other ones I want to get your take on, and you were there in the flesh yesterday, and you mentioned Adamu, who started up front. I don't think he played particularly well, and Mavuka couldn't even get on the bench, and it's kind of making you think, what was the point in that kind of late dash in the transfer window if the players don't particularly look up to it?
I know, Benjamin Arthur as well,
I couldn't even get on the bench.
Involved yesterday. Obviously, Mavuka, as you said, that first 45 minutes against Dundee, I think we all said after that, you're not going to judge a lad on 45 minutes when he's just come in the door and it's not cohesive. I mean, the thing about these boys that are coming into the team is probably a good example of this would maybe be Nicholas Kuhn when he came into the team, if you're thinking about the same position. The team was functioning really well, and you were dropping him into a team which was functioning in all the rest of the areas.
That's a good point.
He's kind of able to find his feet. Dropping these boys into chaos. Nothing functioning. And, you know, even think, you know, if the first game against Dundee, I don't think Mvuka really did anything. But it's difficult for him. I mean, I don't know what you expect him to just get the ball at his feet and just zip past three defenders. That's what you want. That's what you want to see a wide player doing when he's not really got runners off at him or he's not really got anything else on. He's kind of going to have to try and make something happen for himself. Now, he didn't do that, but of course there was the initial fear of, I think Balak-Wisha did exactly the same at Ibrox, didn't he? In his first game, and the call was, well, he's just been thrown in. You can't blame the boy for being safety first and keeping the ball and all that stuff. So it's difficult to judge him. I think the problem you've got, or not the problem you've got, the problem Mvuka's got is Martin O'Neill's clearly judging him on a daily basis in training.
Yeah.
And if you're not getting involved, that's not a good sign. I wouldn't have thought. Adamu got the goal against Dundee, obviously, didn't do a great deal against Livingston. Difficult yesterday. But didn't show enough. I don't think showed enough. I know that Michael and I spoke after the game on one of the other shows in the Daily Record and made the point about the service in terms of Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain from the middle of the park was getting a hold of it and moving balls into the feet of Sanchara at the edge of the box, giving him something to play off. But there was one, I do remember one in the first half when Araujo was desperately looking for a ball and Adamu showed. There was a chip into the box and Hatate was making a third man running. Third man run, and just a proper layoff and Hatate would have been able to score. He just didn't even get that bit right.
Aye.
And it's just like, you don't just when you compare that to some of Chanchara's touches when he came on and the spin and the setup for Araujo's goal. I mean, you're not asking him to go and score every time he comes on or do something lethal, but even the basic things, the simple things yesterday wasn't getting them right. So that wasn't a good sign. But again, early days for him.
Aye. One player that's not in early days is Reo Hatate.
No.
And, I almost feel like I'm singling him out. And, like I say, anyone could have been taken off at halftime yesterday. But it's now, looks to me, he's completely chucked it. He's checked out. And it's a shame because I thoroughly believe that when he's at his best, when he's firing in all cylinders, I think he's as good as anyone in the Premiership.
Yeah.
But I don't know if you agree, but
I don't like the phrase "he's chucked it." It's something I never like to hear about footballers. I mean, I watched Reo Hatate yesterday quite closely. He was busy. He was getting about, but in really ineffectual areas. I think it's more he just doesn't have chucked it. I wouldn't say just doesn't seem switched on. Seems bereft of confidence, and he's just not at it. And he hasn't been at it for months. Now, again, I'll say what I said earlier with one of the other points. If somebody wants to bite back at me and say he's chucked it, then I'm going to find it hard to argue on what we're seeing. I just don't believe that. I just don't think it's happening.
Aye, that's maybe a bit hard.
I think the balance in the middle of the park's right. That's helping him. He's not helping himself. He pushed really far forward yesterday. At times he was right up in the line with Adama. We've seen him do that actually this season a couple of times and score goals on the back of Dyson made a present goalkeepers. I think there was one in Feyenoord. Was there one somewhere else? Easter Road, I think.
Bologna.
Aye. Easter Road as well, I think.
Easter Road, I think you're right. Aye.
He got a tap in as well. So he does kind of push on and play out. He's clearly been told to do that. But there's not enough. He's not getting the ball on the half turn. He's not getting at people. He's not having shots at goal. Those kind of killer passes that he used to play. Now that might have something to do with the movement in front of him. There's not a lot going on. We runs in behind. It sounds like I'm trying to make excuses for him. And in some ways I probably am because I know what a talented footballer he is. But you can't argue it's not happening. It's just not happening. And whereas he's not contributing in general all-round play. And to be honest, neither really is Benjamin Nygren. But Benjamin Nygren's got 16 goals. Exactly.